Tony Currie earned the nickname the Matador for his brilliant football skills, but behind the showmanship was a man fighting a much harder battle, one with his own mind. This is the story of how England's most flamboyant midfielder transformed his darkest moments into a mission to help others. Picture this, a footballer so confident he would sit on the ball during matches and blow kisses to adoring fans. Tony Currie was pure theatre on the pitch, dazzling dribbles, pinpoint passes and breathtaking goals that made crowds gasp in wonder. At Sheffield United, he wasn't just a player, he was an icon, nicknamed TC and Top Cat by fans who worshipped him. His journey began as a London schoolboy before joining Queen's Park Rangers as an amateur. After spells at Chelsea and Watford, he turned professional in 1967. His move to Sheffield United in 1968 for £26,500 launched his legend. He scored on his debut and by 1974 was appointed captain, a testament to the love between player and supporters. But here's what those cheering crowds never saw. Off the pitch, Currie was the complete opposite of his celebrated persona. He has openly admitted to profound mental fragility and a deep lack of comfort in his own skin. This man, who commanded 50,000-seat stadiums, struggled to hold basic conversations outside of football. He feared change, avoided conflict, and found social interaction genuinely terrifying. The pitch wasn't just his workplace, it was his sanctuary. For 90 minutes, he could inhabit a character that gave him the acclaim and confidence completely missing from his daily life. The public performance masked what he later described as crippling self-doubt and dwindling self-esteem. Football became his shield against a world that felt overwhelming. This internal conflict would shape every major decision of his career. In 1973, at his absolute peak, Manchester United offered him the chance to replace the legendary Bobby Charlton. It was the opportunity any footballer dreams of, joining one of the world's biggest clubs. But Currie turned it down. Why? He was, in his own words, afraid of change and lacked the confidence to handle the pressure of such a massive environment. Instead, he signed a 7-year contract with Sheffield United, choosing the familiar comfort of a place where he was already loved over the unknown challenges of greatness. This wasn't poor career advice. It was self-preservation by a man who understood his psychological limits. This internal conflict would shape every major decision of his career. If you're finding Tony's story as compelling as we are, please hit that like button. It really helps us share these important stories about mental health in sport. The pattern repeated internationally. Despite his talent, Currie earned only 17 caps for England over 7 years, a scant reward for his lavish gifts. England manager Don Revie saw Currie's flamboyant style and assumed he was a playboy with a lazy attitude. The manager couldn't reconcile the showman on the pitch with the quiet, reserved man off it. This created a heartbreaking paradox. The very introversion that made Currie seek validation through football was interpreted as the opposite by those in power. His greatest strength became his professional weakness, costing England one of its most creative players. When he moved to Leeds United in 1976 for £250,000, he initially flourished, scoring memorable goals and helping them reach 2 FA Cup semi-finals. But personal turmoil was brewing. His wife never settled in the north, and his head was all over the place. For the first time, his sanctuary was failing him. He recalls one painful League Cup semi-final where he delivered what he called a stinker of a performance. The man who had built his identity on football excellence felt he had let the club, my teammates, and the supporters down. His departure from Leeds became what he describes as the biggest regret of his career. His return to Queen's Park Rangers in 1979 marked the beginning of the end. Despite captaining them in the 1982 FA Cup final replay, his playing ability was increasingly hampered by injuries. After QPR, he drifted between smaller clubs. His final stint at Southend was tragically symbolic. He tore a calf muscle while warming up for his debut. After retiring in 1984, the protective bubble of professional football burst completely. Currie fell into what he describes as being in a bad way throughout the mid-1980s. He was divorced, living with his mother, and went 5 years without steady employment. The man who once commanded £250,000 transfer fees was taking casual jobs as a taxi driver and in a video shop. The casual work served as a reintroduction to life, that taught me how to talk to people. This reveals how his football persona had prevented him from developing basic social skills. Without his professional stage, he was unprepared for everyday interaction. During this period, Currie's mental health reached its lowest point. He has spoken candidly about drinking heavily during these years, using alcohol as a way to numb the pain of losing his identity and purpose. Most seriously, he has revealed that he wrote what he describes as suicide notes to his children. This wasn't attention-seeking. It was the genuine despair of a man who had lost his sense of self and saw no way forward. His pride ran so deep that he never even took the dole because he felt embarrassed. Here was a former England international, too ashamed to accept help, struggling alone with demons that had haunted him throughout his successful career. The very qualities that made him successful, his pride, his need for validation, his fear of vulnerability, were now working against his recovery. Then came the phone call that changed everything. Sheffield United, the club where he had been most loved, offered him a lifeline. They wanted him as their community coordinator, a role he felt completely unqualified for. But Currie has been clear about what this opportunity meant. It saved my life, really, and put me back on my feet. He was, by his own admission, on his knees, with no money and no future when Sheffield United reached out. The community role was perfect for his psychological needs. It provided purpose and belonging while leveraging his iconic status without the crushing pressure of on-field performance. This wasn't just employment. It was a homecoming. He could reconnect with his family, the Blades fans, while channeling his football legacy into genuine community benefit. The job gave him what therapy later would, a sense of worth beyond performance, and a way to help others. Today, Tony Currie has transformed his personal struggles into powerful advocacy work that's helping countless others. He speaks publicly about his battles with alcoholism and mental health, something almost unheard of for footballers of his generation. This openness requires tremendous courage, especially from someone who once found basic conversation outside football terrifying. He has admitted feeling like a fool for not seeking therapy earlier, and now embraces the philosophy that a problem shared is a problem halved. This simple wisdom, born from years of suffering in silence, has become central to his advocacy message. He actively encourages others to seek help rather than struggle alone, as he did. His autobiography, Imperfect 10, is what reviewers call a searingly honest account that details not just career highlights, but his crippling self-doubt and dwindling self-esteem. The book's title itself reflects his new perspective, acknowledging that perfection isn't the goal, growth and honesty are. By sharing his truth so openly, he has helped raise awareness about addiction and mental health, while offering genuine hope to others facing similar challenges. The work extends beyond writing. Through his role at Sheffield United and various speaking engagements, Currie has become a voice for mental health awareness in sport. He talks to young players, community groups, and anyone who will listen about the importance of seeking support and the reality that mental health struggles can affect anyone, regardless of success or status. His message is particularly powerful because it comes from lived experience. When he tells someone that recovery is possible, they know he's not speaking theoretically. He's proof that even from the darkest places, people can find their way to helping others and finding new purpose. The ultimate paradox of Tony Currie's life is beautiful. The very vulnerabilities that limited his professional career, his introversion, fear of change, and mental fragility are what make his story so powerful in today's conversations about mental health in sport. What once held him back now helps him connect with others who are struggling. At Sheffield United, where he still serves as community coordinator and ambassador, Currie represents something profound. He's living proof that our struggles don't define us. How we use them to help others does. His autobiography notes that he almost didn't have the will to hang around to see his legacy unfold, but he did, and countless people are better for it. Tony Currie's story reminds us that behind every public persona is a human being with real struggles. His journey from the Matador to mental health advocate shows that it's never too late to seek help, find purpose, and turn our pain into something that helps others heal. He proves that asking for help isn't weakness. It's the first step toward finding strength we never knew we had. His greatest contribution to football might not have been a trophy, but rather the wisdom and honesty he now shares about mental health. In a sport where vulnerability is often seen as weakness, Currie's openness creates space for others to seek the help they need. He's shown that recovery isn't about returning to who you were, it's about becoming who you're meant to be. If Tony's story resonated with you, please subscribe for more content that treats mental health with the respect it deserves, and let us know in the comments what you found most inspiring about his journey from struggle to advocacy. Remember, if you or someone you know is struggling, reaching out for help is always the right choice.